G'day YouTube, welcome to my channel, and this time I'm going to look at painting the calipers on my Jag F-Type. So when I went to buy this car, one thing I did notice is that the actual brake calipers could do with a little bit of refurbishments. There's a little bit of paint chips off the front calipers, and the Jaguar emblem is missing off the actual caliper itself. And the rear calipers have just lost all colour really, they've gone really dull, so they definitely need a bit of a touch-up. And this is what we bought to do the job with. We've got some red caliper paints, we've got some extremely high temperature clear lacquer, we've got some brake and clutch parts cleaner, and we've got, I don't know if you can see them on the camera, some Jaguar emblems to stick back on the calipers when we've painted them. So now we've got all the parts and we know what we're doing, let's get the car jacked up and get the four wheels off so I can get to those calipers. Now we can get to see the actual caliper itself. These are huge. Well, that's my hand, look. Absolutely massive, but they're only 2-pot calipers. So there's only 2 pistons in these, and only at one side, which is ridiculous. For the size of the caliper, you think they could have gone with 4 or 6-pot. Anyway, so that's the front one. We should be able to get that one off, and you see it's quite dirty. Certainly in need of a bit of renovation. We've got some scratching down here. Are there clips maybe? Not sure. But yeah, we just need to do a little bit of work on them. Let's have a look at the back. And these are the back ones, which look absolutely terrible. So these definitely need a good bit of renovation on them. Again, they're quite massive calipers. I intend to take these off because I found when I did the Mustang, it's much easier to get the caliper off and then just paint it with it just hanging off on the actual cable. I'll get something to secure it so it doesn't go anywhere. And then this carrier, these carrier front and back should just come off. I can take them to the bench and I can paint them nicely on the bench. So we'll start work on this front one and we'll get it off, and I'll show you how to set the caliper off to get access to it, and then we can get painting. So we started by removing this plate here, which I think it's like an anti-rattle shim. So best way to do this is keep your finger on it, go under here and just lift up and watch your face, and it should just twang out, which it has done. Now that is the one that has the Jaguar wear on it, and to be honest it's not in bad nick. The only thing is that my red might be slightly different to this red, but I'm going to clean all these up, and you know what, if this is clean enough I might not bother painting. I might just touch up, there's a couple of little marks on it and I might just touch them up, but it is pretty good to be honest. But let's get some brake cleaner and let's give it a wash and see what happens. Okay, so I've dug out a couple of brushes. These are plastic brushes. The plastic bristles are not wire brushes, so don't worry about that. So I made a decision here. I've just inspected these, given them a clean, and you know what? I don't think these are worth painting. Plus, I haven't got a hex 9mm to actually get the caliper off. And I can't get one for a few days, even if I ordered one online, and there's nothing locally. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do the Jaguar decal on the bit that I've taken off on the bench there, and I'm going to leave this caliper as it is, and we'll just paint the back ones. So let's go do the Jaguar decal. Okay, so here's these 2 plates from the brakes, one from each side. So I'm going to do, I've got some degreaser in here, so I'm just going to give it a bit of a wipe with the degreaser. Luckily, I'm not sure if you can see it on camera, but there is just the faint outline of where the Jaguar decal was there before, so I know exactly where it needs to be in the new one. So let's get the new ones. And peel the top part off, making sure it don't pull the letters off as we do it. Perfect. Same again on the other one. And now to protect the decal, what we're going to do is a couple of coats of this high temperature clear lacquer. Second coat. So while those are drying, let's move on to the back. And yeah, I mean, the back are terrible. definitely need some work on. What we'll do is we'll give them a bit of a clean while they're on, and then we're going to take them off. And what I brought is a bucket. I'm going to pop the caliper on the bucket there so I can work on it there without it straining on the actual brake pipe. I've disconnected this wire here, which I think is the electric parking brake. So I've disconnected that because that's really tight unless I pulled it out of these rubbers. And yeah, but the brake wear indicator, I've unclipped it from where it was clipped to the pipe, so that just gives that a bit more slack as well. So it's got plenty of slack to get down to this this bucket here. So yeah, we'll give it a clean, and then we'll undo. There's 2 bolts there which are 13mm, so under the 2 13mm bolts there, the caliper should then just pop off, and I can put it on the bucket. I can then remove the caliper carrier, which is a 15mm bolts, and then I can take that away to the bench and we can paint that on the bench. Just a lot easier to do. So something I totally forgot to do was to release the electronic parking brake, because that's just obviously clamped onto the disc at the moment. So I've put this plug back on, which I'm assuming is to do with that, and I'm going to go in the car and I'll show you how to release this brake. So to release the electronic parking brake, first of all, press the ignition button so it's on, but without your foot on the brake, so it doesn't start the car. So I'm going to press down at the parking brake for 2 seconds, keeping it pressed. Then I'm going to push the accelerator all the way to the floor. Keep that pressed for 2 seconds, and then turn the ignition off and back on again immediately, and then release them. So let's try that. 1, 2, 2, and... So I'm not sure if you guys heard that noise, but it made a right winding sound from the back. So hopefully it's wound the parking brake right off now, and we should be able to spin the rear disc now to make sure it's off. Let's go try that. Okay, I can't obviously spin the disc because it's automatic, that is set in neutral, so the actual drive is locked. But you can, the disc does actually move. Right, so I can move the disc, so the pads are certainly not clamping onto it, so the parking brake is now off. So now we can take the brake off once we pull this plug out again, so let's do that. So now that's off, we're going to get rid of this carrier to give us a little bit more room here, and basically we just need to get these pads out. So now we can use our 15mm socket and remove the carrier. There it is. So yeah, we can get that over to the bench and we can get that much nicer than it is. So I've built myself a little work platform now, so just using bits of wood in the bucket. So I've got it up here, so it's in a position that I can nicely work on it. That's that pretty much sanded down now. It's only the bit that you can see that I'm really bothered about. So most of this outside edge here has now been done and is ready for paint. So what we'll do is we'll now take this to the bench and we can work on this and clean this up. So that's it. So that's a rear caliper carrier. It's all sanded down now, and it's been degreased and it's ready for a coat of red paint. First coat is now drying. I'm gonna shoot to the back of the car and go do a bit of work on the caliper that's still on the car. First coat now done, so now it's time for a second coat. It hasn't gone very red, but hopefully the second coat will go red. It might need 3 coats actually, but let's crack on. Second coat now done, but I think it's going to need a third coat, so we'll let that dry and let's go do the actual caliper. Yeah, so this hasn't gone too bad actually. Might get away with a couple of coats, but yeah, let's blather this and see how it goes. that second course drying, let's go get these clips and let's fit these back to the car. Right, now these are an absolute pain to fit back to the car, but the way that I see to do it is to actually balance it in the middle like that, so these pins don't go inside the place they're supposed to go, and then get the two outer springs under, push it in, and then prise lift this up to pop those pins into the little divots they need to go in. So wish me luck. So that one in, and that's that one underneath. Right, now it's kind of held in, but you see these pins need to be up and into there, but as soon as you start to lift it, these tend to twang out, so you need to keep it pushed against the car to lift it up. So here we go. That's it. So it's back in, so they're in the little holes there. Springs are nicely underneath, holding them, and yeah, all good. I'll go do the other side now, and that's those done. So it's the next day now, and yeah, this is looking really nice, and this is looking good, and they've thoroughly dried. I've let them dry overnight, so they're now ready to go back on the car. So let's reinstall the rear brakes. And the bolts for these are torqued to 85 foot-pounds. Caliper bolts themselves are 43 foot-pounds. Now, not forgetting to reinstall the breakaway sensor and the electronic parking brake connection. And that's this side completed, so I'm now going to go dismantle and paint the other side and put it all back together. I'll get back to you when that's done. So wheels back on and the car taken off the axle stand, so the next job is to reactivate the electronic parking brake, or deactivate service mode, whichever way you look at it. And we do that very similar to the way that we activated it. So let me show you exactly what you need to do this, and see if you can hear the parking brake coming back on like we had it going off last time. So similar to last time, turn the ignition on without your foot on the brake. And this time lift up the parking brake for 2 seconds, press the accelerator for 2 seconds, then turn the ignition on and off again. So 1 and 2, 1 and 2, and there we go. Can you hear that? And then ignition off. And that's how you do the parking brake if you haven't got access to a computer to do it all with. Pretty easy, really. So let's have a look, see what these calipers now look like. So that's it, hope you enjoyed that. That was quite an easy mod, it's just a little bit messy, but now those look 100% better now they're painted. So if you did enjoy this, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and give me the big thumbs up, and drop any comments that you want below, and I usually get to read and answer all the comments if possible. So once again, thanks for watching.